The last exercise we're going to do is chair squats. You know, we think that even though squats are really hard on our knees, they're still a really important function of our bodies. You know, and the ability to go down into that position is really, really important. So Scott can kind of demonstrate on a squat what.
You want to show the adaptive?
Yep, exactly.
So, this works really well if you're below the knee amputee. So the one thing that we encounter when we're trying to do squats is how the weight, and we're bearing all the weight on our residual limb inside of the sockets, because now it's not dispersed evenly. So for example, when I come down to do a squat like this, I've got all the pressure on the front of my shin in the socket.
See,
look at how my foot,
his ankle doesn't bend, so his heel comes up off the ground.
So this is very awkward, very uncomfortable. It causes discomfort inside my prosthetic socket.
Instability too, right?
Instability. So one of the things that I've shown, and I've learned this from other people over the years, if we just stand with our feet wider and turn our toes out, you see this, kind of like a plie. Now I can go down and do a squat and look at my residual limb is straight up and down inside of the socket, and that foot is flat on the floor.
Right, so he's able to drive back up through the prosthesis instead of kind of just being on the toe and having that moment of instability. But a lot of us say, okay, I'm not ever going to want to do a squat, right? Like, come on, let's be serious about this. So who here sits down in a chair? Does everybody like to sit down in a chair? Who here likes to get up from that chair? Okay, then we all like to do squats. So what we're going to show is we're going to show the adaptation of what we call a chair squat. These are things that, I mean, bodybuilders do chair squats. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a cheat. It's not anything. What we're not here to do is to flop into the chair and flop back up. We want to be controlled, engaged. If we have to take a moment at the bottom to rest and reset before we stand up, that's fine. But what we would really prefer is through the course of this exercise to go down until you feel the chair and then come back up without ever really stopping and supporting your weight on the chair. Now, if you have, like I said, if you're at a point where that little pause lets you regroup and get back up, fine. No, that's not a problem. Don't think. But our goal here, you know, over time is to be able to get to the chair, feel it, and then back up without just flopping down on the chair. So let's go ahead and, again, if we need to keep a chair in front of us to help, I really, really like at home, I like kitchen sinks, because kitchen sinks are usually pretty firmly anchored to things. So we can have our hands on that kitchen sink so that when we're going down, we've got something. Now, we don't want to use everything in our upper body to pull ourselves up, but if we need a little assist, so holding on to something in front of us can really help us with, one, the balance that we need, and two, just that initial impulse to start things back up.
So for transfemoral amputees, obviously it's going to be harder to get that low. And I certainly don't want to say that it can't be done, because I know people who have, but they're very strong and they've walked on them but that's why we work towards it. So I just want, if you're going and you've got the sink or whatever, and you come down yay far, there's still a benefit to this. And those muscles are strengthening, and then you'll increase that range of motion as that strength increases. And
I mean, there's nothing to say you can't put cushions on the chair, build the chair up to a higher level so that you can still get that idea of, okay, I've felt that there's contact here, and now I can come back up. And so there's lots of ways to adapt that so that you can feel comfortable and get through that full range of motion. Scott's right. What some prosthetic knees, like especially the mechanical knees, would really require you to use all of one leg, right? So you're doing single leg squats down to the chair and back up. It's really hard to do. We don't expect everybody to do that. A lot of the microprocessor knees are going to help on the way down.
But on the way up?
But on the way up, you have to really, really consciously fire into the back of that socket to get any extension moment on the knee, and you're still going to be looking at like 10 to 20% of assist and doing 80%
or if you've got a weight-activated locking knee, it's just
not going to work.
And if you have questions about the exercises, and I know we have a Facebook page, I don't know, Brian, if you're hearing like what I'm, but I know people reach out and they ask questions, so it will be relative to the knee. And if you have questions like, hey, this is, and you know what kind of knee you have, feel free to put a thing down there and we'll try to blast you an answer in a
Right.
reasonable amount of time. Give us a day or so to respond, because if we're at work, we'll
Right.
usually get the stuff at night and then Brianna will put it out. But we're happy to try to assist in that
Right.
way, or ask your prosthetist. They know how your knee functions.
Yep.
So
again, we're going to do these chair squats. If anybody that's in the room here wants it a little higher, we can stack some chairs so that it's up a little higher. If so that we don't have to get to that point. Listen to your knees on this exercise. If we're feeling knee pain, then we definitely want to start building the chair up to us. We don't want to go so deep. That's why I said squats, even though we think they're super important, they can put a lot of strain if you do have a bad knee. So we want to be mindful of that, right? We don't want to hurt ourselves to where we can't do the rest of the exercises. So we're going to do 10 chair squats here. We're going to try to do them in a controlled manner. So we're going to go down to the chair and then up. And then down and up. And down. 3. Down. 4. Down. 5. Down. 6. Down. 7. Down. 8. 2 more. 9. And 1 more. Try to really make this one count. 10. Good. Good job. So remember on these ones, your adaptations. Don't worry about where you are today and where you're starting. Just it's better to go through the motions, have your bodies feeling this, and with repetition, there's going to be success over time.